supercars, villas, models, or even game characters. Why do they look good? Can you tell me which one is the most beautiful? I will give you 2 seconds. Science says that among these lines, there is one that is the most beautiful. Probably you selected this one. But why? Actually, even though most people pick the same S line, and even though beauty is often said to be universal, the reality is a bit more complex. In this video, we will look at how we decide whether something looks good or not, and why people look attractive. These S-lines were proposed by William Hogarth in the 1750. He claimed that these curved lines would look the most beautiful, but he had no idea why. He just decided they were, with no reasoning. Still, his idea influenced art, design, sculpture, calligraphy, and landscape for years. I don't think he was wrong, because what he said really seems true. When I look, I also think curved line is the more beautiful one. The interesting part is why these lines are more beautiful than the others. If we can understand that, we might learn the secret of the real beauty. Right at this point, exactly 150 years later, American painter Henry Poor linked the line of beauty to the ideal curve between a woman's waist and hips. But he also did something else. He changed the form of the line and fitted it to the female hip according to his own idea. If you compare these two lines, they're absolutely not the same. He thought we like curves because when a woman's waist to hip shape is curvy, it looks attractive to people, and that is why we prefer it. And the most interesting part is that this was proven by a scientific study a century later. But how that can be? As you know, a curve is two-dimensional. Maybe it looks nice on a 2D screen and stays the same, but in reality, this is not the case. We live in a 3D world. Whenever we see a person, they are not static, they move. That means curves are constantly changing over time. By this logic, for a curve to stay attractive, the ratio would have to remain constant during motion. Yet, when we see an attractive person, even though they move and their curvatures change, we still find them attractive. From this, we can conclude that curves really are beautiful, but the reason may not be their relation to female hip. I say may not, because even the scientific study on this topic clearly states that the link between the line of beauty and the female hip ratio was found by chance. Another dimension of beauty is symmetry. It helps us tell the living from non-living, recognize faces, and even choose mates. Throughout human history, symmetry has been used in architecture, art, and patterns. According to one study, symmetry has two sides, art and science. Art sides, for hundreds of years, painters have unconsciously placed one eye exactly in the center of the canvas in portraits. The face is asymmetric, but one eye still lands at the center. This is not a conscious choice. It reflects the brain's obsession with symmetry. Science side, how does human brain process symmetry? fMRI experiments show that when we see symmetric shapes, special regions in the back of the brain become active. I will explain this next. In other words, the brain has a symmetry-specific circuit. The human eye detects symmetry in 0.05 seconds. It is so fast that there is no time to scan point by point, which means there is a hardwired mechanism in the brain. In portraits, placing one eye at the center is an unconscious rule that repeats through history. Even Picasso did not break this one. We detect symmetry equally, fast at the center and at the edges of the visual field. This shows the brain can make large-scale comparisons. From a scientific study on symmetry, the conclusion is this: the brain picks up symmetry as a visual feature directly. Attention or conscious searching is not enough, so you don't need to think to detect symmetry. Your brain notices automatically and unconsciously. In this experiment, 3 photos were shown to participants to see if they truly detect symmetry. First one, an image with horizontal, vertical, and diagonal symmetric copies. Second, an image made of completely random dots. Third, an image made of repeating dots. The results are surprising. In a 3D brain view of the back loop, the orange areas show where activity rises when a symmetric arrangement is seen. So there is a region in the brain that detects symmetry. When the brain images for these 3 photos are compared, the picture with 4-axis dot symmetry creates a larger activation in the brain. For the repeating dot or random dot image, the activation difference is not as notable. With this scientific study, we can reach many ideas. Symmetry has a lot to say, not only about human on attractiveness, but also about whether we find anything beautiful at all. Symmetry. Why is the human face found attractive? What makes a person beautiful? A detailed study from 2011 gives us very good ideas about this. The core facial features that affect attractiveness. Symmetry, averageness, sex-linked shape differences, skin color or health appearance, personality cues. This is considered attractive because it serves as an honest signal. Of genetic quality. It reflects an individual's ability to maintain stable development against environmental and genetic challenges and is linked to better health and fertility. Averageness. Faces that are closer to the population average are often preferred. This may be because averageness signals greater genetic diversity, which can improve resistance to pathogens, or because very non-average features are more likely to result from harmful genetic mutation. Sex-linked shape differences, masculinity or femininity. These features are shaped by sex hormones. Highly masculine traits in men can be a handicap because testosterone can suppress the immune system. Therefore, only the healthiest men can afford them, making them a reliable indicator of good genes. While female faces are constantly found attractive, preferences for male masculinity vary considerably. Skin color or health appearance. Skin provides crucial, up-to-date information about a person's current health. Homogeneous. Smooth skin is rated as more attractive and healthier. Specifically, yellower skin tones can indicate a healthy diet, while redder tones may signal good blood oxygenation. Personality cues. Beyond the what is beautiful is good stereotype, preferences can also be driven by desired personality, essentially a what is good is beautiful effect. For instance, masculine male faces are perceived as more dominant but less cooperative, honest and warm. A woman's preference may therefore represent a trade-off between securing good genes and good parental investment. They discuss not only shared tastes but also individual differences, hormone levels, your own attractiveness beliefs, personality traits, cultural imprinting, and social learning, shedding light on the debate. Are beauty preferences cultural or evolutionary? From an evolutionary view, these preferences are adaptive, meaning they helped us gain survival, reproductive advantages in the past. In short, the perception of attractiveness is not arbitrary. It has biological roots and helps optimize people's social and mate choices. There is a high level of commonality across most cultures and individuals. People find similar things beautiful, but there is also context-dependent variation. During evolution, women may prefer more masculine faces. In resource-limited societies, women may prefer partners who are reliable and willing to invest. As a person's own attractiveness rises, they seek a higher quality partner. Health, immune strength, and hormone cues read from faces are critical in mate choice. Finally, the perception of attractiveness affects not only mate choice but also hiring, social relations, and even court decisions. Don't forget to subscribe.